So about 1 year ago, I made a video letting everybody know that I deleted Facebook. And I was away from Facebook for like a year. And one day, I decided to join it again. And I think it was because I was trying to look up an old buddy or whatever, contact him. And from that point forward, I kind of got more and more into using Facebook again, and I found that I was spending an awful lot of time on Facebook. And I could see the same things happening to me that happened to me in the past. That is, becoming almost, obsessive about using Facebook. Always having to log in when I wake up. Always having to log in when I get home from work. And just continually doing this day in, day out. And then sharing things on my wall, excessively. Even though nobody was liking really anything. Nobody was really paying attention to me. I just found it, after a while, to become very pointless. Most of the stuff that I put up on Facebook was very good, encouraging, uplifting, motivational, and educational. But at the end of the day, I realized that most people aren't actually looking at that stuff, right? And so I really felt like it was just a waste of my time, and it started to make me feel depressed because it made me feel like, well, nobody cares about me. Nobody's looking at any of the stuff on my Facebook page. And here are people, on Facebook, on my friends list, that have 600 friends. And everybody's liking their stuff. Everybody cares about what they put up. Everybody loves their stuff. And you can kind of see how that would make me feel like, man, I wish people, looked at my stuff because this is really important stuff. And dwelling on that, I think, allowed me to become, depressed in a way. And, some studies have shown that users of Facebook can develop depression. And because a lot of people out there, let's face it, are lonely. So they turn to social networking because they can find whoever they want. And they can connect with those people. Unfortunately, that is not a one-on-one person. It's, a person behind a computer screen. And so it's a completely different communication with someone than when you're one-on-one in person with that individual. And, for thousands of years, human beings have been interacting with one another on a one-to-one basis in person. Now all of a sudden, everybody's jumped into this social media like Facebook, and I believe that it is really having a negative effect, I believe, on people. Because, people are spending all of their time on Facebook. It's taking up their lives. Relationships can be destroyed because of Facebook, because people post things on their wall. Other people see those things that they didn't want them to see. Maybe you forgot to make your page private. Sometimes people get drunk and they put all this stuff up on Facebook while they're drunk, and then other people see that and then they regret it because they weren't using their right judgment in mind. They weren't thinking while they were doing all of this and saying all this stuff. But people take it the wrong way because they don't know the circumstances that was going on at that particular time. So there's all these factors and all these things that really creates a lot of negative consequences, I believe, when you use Facebook. Now, I deleted my Facebook, and I can say that I feel happier. And, the funny thing is when you delete your Facebook, you almost have withdrawals in the sense that you kind of want to go back and do that because that's a habit or the pattern in your life that you adopted. But, it isn't a good pattern. It really is not a good pattern because there's a lot more healthy and more productive things to be doing with your time than to be writing things on Facebook. Yeah, you can put a trailer of a movie up on your Facebook and be like, oh, wow, this is a really cool movie, great. Okay, so you spend, a minute or 2 minutes doing this. You get people that are like, yeah, man, that's cool, I like that too. And they like it. You could have spent those 2 minutes doing some push-ups. You could have spent those 2 minutes making a video on YouTube and creating more income, through Google AdSense. There's a way more productive things to be doing with your time than, doing all of these really kind of pointless things on Facebook. But I'm not trying to knock down anybody that uses Facebook, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to be doing those things. But I am saying that, when you look at it for what it really is, it's not really socializing in the real sense. Facebook is a social networking site, but it's actually anti-social in the real world, if you look at it that way. In the virtual reality world, I guess you could say it's socializing. But who cares about virtual reality when we live in a real world? We don't live in virtual reality. We live in a real world, a real planet with real people around us. And it seems that Facebook traps people in this web that keeps them sucked into virtual reality. It's kind of like the movie Surrogates, where everybody wanted to go, be on in pretty much this program, with this thing on their head because they hated reality so much. They hated their lives. They wanted to live a different life. And I just think that is kind of like what Facebook does in some sense. It blinds people, it keeps people from reality, and isn't that what drugs do? Like alcohol, and all these other drugs that people turn to when they don't want to face problems in their life. They want to get away from those things, those hard, sometimes painful issues in their life. So they turn to drugs, they turn to maybe social networking sites or things like that. Now, on the plus side, there is reasons why people would use Facebook other than all of these other, reasons. And that would be like maybe trying to stay in touch with family members that live, abroad. Maybe you don't have access to a phone. Maybe you only have access to internet or something. So, these, I guess, are valid reasons why somebody might want to use Facebook. Easier form of contact. But, I think that most people aren't using it for that reason. I think most people are using it as like a popularity thing. Because, a lot of people are just trying to get more and more friends. They're trying to get more people to like their things. And they want to be, in the spotlight. They want everybody to come to their page. That's the whole point, that you put stuff up on your page, so you hope that other people are going to look at it. So you are kind of like in the spotlight. You are now becoming, it's all about you, self-absorbed. It's a very selfish, actually, thing when you really get to think about it. Now, don't get me wrong, there's people out there that put educational things up on Facebook, and people that are trying to help other people. Resources. But the large majority of Facebook users do not do that. And they could care less about, reading Bible verses or inspirational quotes or things like that. A lot of it is just a game. And a game to get more friends, more popularity, and get more spotlight. And, let's be honest. somebody that has 600 or more friends on their friends list, how often do those people actually talk to you? Do you think that every single one of those people actually care about you? And how often do any of those people on your friends list call you or hang out with you on a one-on-one basis? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. Like I've asked myself, like, what am I doing on here? You know, why am I, you know, writing to these people that really don't care about me? They don't share my common interests, you know? So what business do I have interacting with these people behind a computer screen when they're not even in my life, you know? When I could be going outside making friends, you know, doing activities, going hiking, going fishing, playing sports, running, exercising, or even playing some video games with your friend. That's way better than Facebook. And of course, this is all my opinion, but I think it's valid in many respects. Now, the other thing that is a little disturbing about Facebook is the fact that you have really no privacy on Facebook. Yeah, in the settings, they tell you you can make your Facebook page private. Okay, so other people, you know, outside of your friends list can't see your page. They can't see your status updates. But everything that you put on Facebook goes into their database. The government knows what you're doing. They keep a record of all of it. And I'm, you know, thinking that even when you permanently delete your Facebook account, who's to say that they still don't have all of your information or are holding it? You know, because the government, the NSA, I believe, was holding everybody's phone records, and they were listening to what people were saying to one another during their phone conversations. They were essentially spying. In Google, the Google search engine tracks everything that we type into the search bar. That's what I understand. And so really there is no privacy. That doesn't mean you become, you know, paranoid and never use the internet, never use Google, or never use Facebook either. That's not what I'm trying to tell people. I'm not telling people to just completely become like Amish and not even to use a computer. What I am saying is that if privacy matters to you, and hopefully it does, because, you know, our ancestors, it was a big deal. And it did matter because people had dignity, they had respect for themselves. But now, a lot of people have no shame. They have no shame for things. They have no respect for their own privacy. They could care less if the world knows everything about them. Well, I, for one, like, you know, my business to keep, you know, to me and me alone. And if I share personal things with people, it'll be with people that are very close to me. And these are things that I don't want to be shared online with other people that don't really care about me. And, you know, that's something to think about. So, it's this whole, like, spying, privacy thing, and it's dangerous, too, because, you know, there's websites that let parents know steps they can take to protect their kids online. Like, don't give out your phone number, don't give out your address, don't be putting your pictures and stuff up on Facebook, don't be putting all this, you know, personal information up there. And yet people are doing this all the time. They're taking pictures of places that they visited, they're taking pictures of their homes, they're taking pictures of their kids, they're putting their address in Facebook, they're putting where they work on Facebook, they're putting their phone number on Facebook. I mean, if somebody wanted to find you, stalk you, you know, and do something really bad to you, it's very easy for somebody to do that. You know, but people don't think about this stuff. You know, we think about this when it comes to our kids, but how often do adults, parents, think about this for themselves? You know, the world is not a completely safe place. There's a lot of bad people in this world, and a lot of people that are out to harm other people. And you can't just leave it up to the cops, you know, and the law, because people are going to break those laws. People are going to not, the cops aren't always going to be there in time. They're not, spending their whole days trying to protect you and make sure nothing bad happens to you or anything like that. You have to take responsibility for your life. And you have to make good, wise decisions and choices. And a lot of young people today, they don't think about any of this stuff. I was born in 86. It's not like I'm really old, but, I grew up in a good home, and I was, taught a lot of important things and lessons, and I carry those on to me, with me today. So, I guess all I'm saying is, I think that overall, Facebook is not a good thing. I think it really is a place of gossip. I think it's a place where people just want to be popular. And if you really want to educate people, and you really want to share information with them, you can still do that the traditional way, like calling them on the phone or seeing them in person. There are no excuses at the end of the day why people can't do this. And I just think that it's made a less social society, maybe a less social world, because of social networking. And that's all I have to say in this video. So if you like this video, if you agree with any of the things, or you have any positive things to say, let me know. Share your thoughts or whatever down below. And if you have any negative things to say, share that too. I'm open for anybody's opinions, and I'm not ready to limit or censor anybody. So with that, take care. Have a great day.